whole. If that's you, look at your resume. I can almost guarantee you that's where the problem lies.
Ding, ding. That's cold-blooded, though. I mean, they send a thank you letter, and you send a no thank you letter. That's cold-blooded right there. I have not never. I'm going to get real country on you. I have not never. You just excited. They probably was out celebrating with the family. Let me go and send this thank you real quick. Then they get a response back. No, we good.
No, thank you. You have to realize that when you are presenting yourself to an employer, it is like your dating stages.
True.
The way hiring leaders look at it is, if you are already kind of coming out the bag during the dating stage, then when you get here and get comfortable, what kind of performance am I going to get out of you? So when you're in the resume stage, the interview stage, the negotiation stage, at any point in time, that employer can pull the trigger, because 9 times out of 10, they have contingencies in their offer letter to say at any point in time, due to your background, due to onboarding or anything to that extent, we can back out. So that's why it's very important not to do anything crazy. You know, I've seen people, and I've heard where people have gotten job offers, literally gotten job offers, gone to the ladies' bathroom, called somebody on the phone and said, you know, I really don't want to work here, but I'm going to go ahead and take this job because it's going to pay my bills. And one of the executives happened to be in the stall next door, and that person ended up getting a no thank you letter. So you have to be on your P's and Q's the entire time when you are being looked at as a candidate.
Wow. So Big Brother is always watching.
Right.
That's good information to share, though, because I'm glad that you shared this story, because hey, there may be somebody out there that's interviewing tomorrow that may be wanting to place a phone call. They say they're excited about the job. Right. Wait till you leave, then get in your car.
Get in your car. Have your exciting moment, and even if that's your short-term plan, even if you know, okay, I'm only going to stay with this employer, because think about it, employers spend a ton of money onboarding folks into the organization, because you got to get trained, you have to have work equipment and all that type of stuff. So if they know that you're not vested going in, that you're going to probably be there, 3 to 6 months, they're not going to invest in having you as an employee. So you need to, wait till you get in your car, wait till you get home and celebrate and do all of that. But remember that as long as you're in front of that employer, you're emailing that employer, consider yourself on stage.
This is true, because they are always watching, and they're making sure when you miss your lines, they are quick to remind you.
Right.
Corporate America. Yeah. The good, the bad, the ugly. But it is corporate America, and I think the kind of world we live in, where people have to work, or be entrepreneurs and do their own thing. But for the most part, a lot of people are working for other companies. So you definitely want to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. While you're there, like I said, for whatever reason or forever long you need to be there, just be on top of your game. And then once you're done, like you said, the day is done. You're there to put in that work. But even though you're working for another company, I think you're in business for yourself, because you're the CEO of yourself, right?
You're absolutely right. You're the CEO for yourself, and you're representing yourself at the end of the day. And what we teach people at MKK Bell Consulting, too, is whether you're working in corporate America or if you have your own position or you're working for a nonprofit, whatever, we want you to operate in your purpose, because operating in your purpose is going to allow you to have job satisfaction and fulfillment. And so it doesn't matter if you're working in a corporate environment, a nonprofit environment, you should just be operating in your purpose and being paid accordingly for operating in your purpose. And because when you operate in your purpose, you're serving somebody else. So if you're at a job that you don't like, you don't want to be at, you don't feel like you're walking in your purpose, you have to also think about the person on the receiving end, which is the consumer or the customer. They're not receiving what they need 100%. I don't know if you've ever gone into a store and you're like, hey, how you doing? You're all chippery, and the person behind the counter looks like they just want to beat you in the parking lot because they're upset.
And you know what I say to them? Why did you choose this job?
Why?
Obviously, it's making you miserable. Obviously.
Right.
And then they look at me like I got 3 heads. You the one had a funky attitude when I walked in here, but you looking at me crazy when I asked you the question.
Right, exactly. And so that's because that's a job for them. It's a means to pay bills, and they don't feel that they're serving a unique purpose there. But when you're operating in your purpose, even if the money is not always there, even if you have hard days, I've had some extremely hard days, but I was able to get back up that next morning and go for it because I knew the job that I was in, I was providing a service for folks. I was giving people an opportunity who probably had never had an opportunity to be presented for particular positions before. I was coaching people to excellence. You know, when I was recruiting, if I knew and I saw someone had potential but they were not representing themselves well, I will pull them to the side and say, hey, we're going to reschedule your appointment, but here's what I think you need to do, and here's what you need to do to make sure you represent the best you as possible. So for me, I was operating in my purpose.
Solid, man, solid. I say this all the time, you know, either operating in your purpose or know your why, right?
Right.
Why do you do whatever it is that you do? Because as you say, that's going to get you through those hard moments, those tough times, those stumbling blocks, those setbacks, those obstructions, those all kind of stuff, right? If you just know why you're doing it, even the financial part of it, right? If you just know why you're doing it, you're going to see that light. You're going to see that purpose. You're going to see the reason why you're doing it. So again, when those times do come, you may stumble and fall, but you won't stay there. You won't stay there because there's a reason behind what you're doing, and I commend you for that, you know, walking in your purpose and walking in that, because unfortunately you know, just like I know, there's a lot of people out here that have no idea what their purpose is.
Exactly. And that's where we can come in and help you get clarity around that so you can start walking in your purpose and not be scared of what your purpose looks like. A lot of times because we don't have folks necessarily sometimes in our families that have reached a certain level or pinnacle of success, we get scared of that. And we have all this potential. We have all this passion and zeal for what we do, but we don't know how to get there because the road hasn't been mapped out before. We have no role model or figure to look up to say, you know, hey, this is possible. You can do this. And because someone took some time to pour into me, I am going to always pour back into people. It was one point in my career, you know, years and years and years ago, I was very complacent. I was very comfortable. My husband and I had purchased our home. We were very financially okay. You know, we were good. But someone came and poured into me, and they said, you know what, you're much more than what you're doing now. You know, don't stop being lazy and kind of, you know, look and explore what you want to do and do what you want to do in terms of serving in your purpose. And through that conversation and through that, I went on and finished college. I went on to make a 6-figure salary. Stuff that, you know, I had never seen anybody do before. And was it scary? Yes. Yeah. It was really, really scary. But that's why now I go back and I tell people, you can do it. Do you believe in you? Do you have the strength and the tenacity to see this through? If you do, let's get to work.
You got the hand clap on that one. I had to give you the hand clap on that one. Do you believe in you? That's the thing, man. Right. I say this all the time, right? Is that, you know, whenever I do speaking and stuff like that, right, I got little things that I want to do as well, is that I have a mirror, right? And I have them look in that mirror. And I have them, do not let that person that's looking right back at you, don't let that person get in your way. Right.
And so many times we are our biggest discouragers. It's not necessarily anybody else. It's us. It's that little voice in our head that's saying, well, no one in your family has ever done this, or you're not going to be able to do this. Do you know where you grew up at? Do you know where you came from? This, that, and the other. And you have to silence that voice, and you silence that voice by execution, meaning that you're not white goals and have them transition from year to year to year, saying that, oh, I'm going to do this, oh, I'm going to, go and look for this type of job, I'm going to put myself out there. You actually, like Nike said, you just need to do it. You need to move into execution and do it. Put yourself out there. The worst thing somebody can tell you is no. If it's and if it's purpose for you, you'll get it. You have to believe in yourself.
Well, we have what I see is a lot of fake confidence that we see out here, because when people deal with real rejection and real life issues, sometimes it's hard for them to take that, because oh my gosh, I'm not the smartest, I'm not the brightest, I'm not the best. No, everyone does not win a ribbon. If you win, you get a ribbon, not a participation. So sometimes I think people, they got all this confidence, because you see it on social media and everything. Everybody's so confident and so fly, and so they got this, they either swagged out or they fly.
Right.
When they say they just 100. But then, as you say, and you probably seen in your own business, when they deal with that real life rejection, oh, I'm crying, oh, I'm sad because I didn't get this job, or this career is not going like it's supposed to do. But if you're confident in who you are, you just know that's a minor setback for a major comeback, right?
It is. You're absolutely right. It is, and you have to know how to self-talk and self-talk yourself up, because you're going to have people that's going to tell you no. You're going to have people that's going to look you in your face and tell you you're not qualified, and you're qualified for the position, but what do you do with that information? And at first, you got to ask yourself, do you believe them? Because if you believe them, that's when you're going to start going down that negative path. But if you know that you have the skills and you have the education, then that was not the opportunity for you. Will it hurt? Yes. But you have to move on from that, and you have to have some type of plan to know, okay, if I get rejected from this, and that's why I tell job seekers not to put all your eggs in one basket. I don't care if you're on your third interview. Don't stop interviewing with other companies, because you don't know if this person is going to move forward with you or not. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Keep searching, keep looking, and doing what you need to do to get an offer.
Exactly. Finding a job is a job within itself.
It is
a lot of times. It was a young man. Came into the office the other day. I saw him at one of the corporate offices where I work at, right? And he came into the office, and I immediately recognized him, because he was there actually taking his resume and handing it to the receptionist, right? And I was like, you know what? Let me see this resume, man. Give me a copy of it, and let me see if I can put it in the hands of our recruiter or some people that can help you out or whatever. And he was just so flabbergasted by that move that I made, to help him out. But I was flabbergasted by actually seeing someone beating these streets and actually, showing the hustle and grind and motivation, looking at people eye to eye. Hey, I'm looking for a job, rather than the impersonal stuff that a lot of people do online sometimes. So, and he was a young man. And so that's why I was willing to help him out, because you don't really see a lot of that.
Yes, and you hit you all in my notes, in my coaching notes.
There you go.
What I tell people all the time. There was a very good structure, a very good gesture of that person for going in, handing in their resume, because I always tell people, one, you cannot be a lazy job seeker. A lot of times people will say, well, I've applied for jobs. Well, you have to do more than that. And with technology and with access to all of this different information, there are ways that you can get in front of an employer, not just by sending your resume through their applicant tracking system, but you can also reach out to them through LinkedIn. You can also meet them face-to-face, see if they have a networking event with their company or organization that's coming up, and go to that networking event. So you can't just say, I'm going to sit behind my computer and I'm going to apply for all of these jobs. If you're truly looking for a certain type of position, you have to get to moving, and that is a perfect example of that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I'm sorry to get all up in your notes and everything, but I just felt that was a perfect example for what we were talking about. And again, and seeing this young man operating on that level was just, that was just great for me to be able to see that. Because, I'm always saying what's not, so I'm always going to definitely give credit, to what is. And I just really appreciate that. That's a great skill to have, and a great, I think it almost sets you apart. It said that you're talking about, these thousands of lists of applicants and all these people that's on the same page applying for the same job. That sets you apart right there, because guarantee they're going to remember that person that came in and handed them a resume as well.
Right. And if you have an opportunity to get in front of a hiring leader, a manager, or a receptionist, because like you, the same thing that you did, that receptionist or you can go and say, hey, this young man actually physically came into the office. You know, you really need to look and consider this person versus this, you know, if